Namaste, Jai Bharat. Our External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, has just made a small statement which represents the sentiments of all of us that Kashmir was always ours, which means an integral part of Bharat, in spite of the fact that it is presently, a part of it is presently under the occupation of Pakistan, which is the result of an explicit mistake by the then government of this nation, who stopped the advancing army of Bharat from taking the entire Kashmir. Now, it, of course, is a welcome thought that represents the feelings and sentiments of all Bharatiyas, that Pakistan occupied Kashmir is never a part of Pakistan. They themselves know it. That's why they kept repeating all these years that Kashmir banega Pakistan. They themselves are accepting that Kashmir abhi tak Pakistan bana nahi hai. So they still say, and they kept saying, Kashmir banega Pakistan. बना तो नहीं है और बनेंगे भी नहीं. चलो. So, Kashmir will have to join with the Kashmir. Pakistan occupied Kashmir will have to be joining Kashmir in the real sense. But then, this situation is not so simple. It will have its own complexities built into it, which need to be addressed rather seriously. Let me say, in the context of the Ali brothers, Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali, Devendranath Thakur is called in Bangla, told Bapu that they are Muslim Indians, not Indian Muslims. One sentence. They are Muslim Indians, not Indian Muslims. There's a difference between Muslim Indians and Indian Muslims, where the priority goes to being a Muslim rather than being an Indian. The question can be explicitly put. What are you? You're first an Indian or first whatever religion you belong to? The answer should be first an Indian, then that person is obviously welcome. But when he says that his religion is important, religion is not unimportant, but as compared with the nation, religion only is a superstructure to the substructure of the nation. Now we shall welcome the Kashmiris of Pakistan, but then there will be some difficulties in the sense that if you look at Pakistan occupied Kashmir, it is not only the Kashmiris live there. There may be also non-Kashmiris who might have been living there for so many years. I don't think we can count them as Kashmiris by virtue of the fact that they had been residing there. What will happen to them? I don't think that we can accept them. They belong to a different province. That's one thing. Second thing is, anyone who comes to Bharat should be an integral part of Bharatiya Sanskriti. If that is not the case, then one has to be careful. We expect a Kashmiri who is coming from Pakistan occupied Kashmir to Bharat. Well, when Pakistan occupied Kashmir becomes Bharat, a person living there should know his own history. his own ancestry and his own Sanskriti. Somebody should work in this direction to let them know who they are actually. Their faith is different. That doesn't make any difference. You can hold any faith. Doesn't make any difference. But then Sanskriti of yours cannot be swapped. It cannot be. The difficulty is that you can neither escape from your own Sanskriti nor adopt another Sanskriti. You can adopt different faith system, but you cannot substitute your Sanskriti which comes to you from your ancestors, to whom you legitimately belong. It's your ancestry, and you inherit that, and that Sanskriti must be inherited. Somebody should teach the Kashmiris living in Pakistan occupied Kashmir Raj Tarangini. Somebody should teach, or they should try to understand what is the text book Raja Tarangini. They should also know what was their history and heritage. Kashmir is actually Kashyapa Desha, and Kashmir was a great hub of Bharatiya Sanskriti. Not necessarily Kashmiris always. There are many Kashmiris, but people, the intellectuals of this nation, had gone there, stayed there, and worked. Even Shankaracharya, all the way from south, had travelled to Kashmir, which is history, and is opened the southern door of Shankara Peeth. There are personalities in Kashmir which is a part of the heritage of every Kashmiri. Take the name, there are plenty. What comes to my mind, I'll tell one or two names. Anna Bhatta, Nyaya thinker. Jayanta Bhatta, Nyaya thinker. Abhinav Gupta, Panini, the grammarian. So many such names. So many such names. They were great Kashmiri writers, thinkers, philosophers, and Vedantins. I think it should be available in the internet, the Kashmiri scholars list. It's a long list. And all these people lived in BC, before Christ. Long before they lived. And today's Kashmiris' heritage is that. His ancestry is that. He should know it. And then join the Kashmiris of Bharat who live here in today's Kashmir. So someone who is really a Kashmiri, who earnestly believes in being a Kashmiri, should make some move into initiating every Kashmiri living in Pakistan occupied Kashmiri to induct him into his heritage. I mean, your heritage, your history, your ancestry. Some awareness is essential, inevitable, which would make these years, so many years of gap, it's not just from the time of independence till now, it is from 1857 till now. The separatist elements began at 1857. It's running more than 100 years. And so many generations came and gone. So a generation who's born into a different context and into a different epistemological background need to be trained and educated into his own heritage. Look at the irony of it. Somebody has to teach you about what you used to be. I mean, your ancestries, what your great ancestors used to be, how great they were. It same thing happened to Bharat in many, especially because of the colonial British education. But we are struggling to decolonize our minds. We are struggling to decolonize our minds. We do accept it, and to a great extent, we are becoming successful in a slow pace, of course. There are many who had already who could already come out of the colonized minds, and many are struggling, and many have not even started it. Most likely, there are people who had not even started decolonizing themselves. So, the blending of the Kashmiri, Pakistan occupied Kashmiri people with Kashmir per se, it's not going to be an easy task. They have to be initiated into, let me say, what is called as Kashmiriness or Kashmiriyat in Hindi. They have to be initiated into Kashmiriness, and that has to be done intellectually, because the separatist thoughts were put into the minds of your ancestors were done intellectually by the separatist Muslim intellectuals, and there are many. There are many like that. I do some videos in Hindi about the separatist Muslim intellectuals. Not all can be listed, but some who appears as stronger enough are talked about. So there need to be this exercise. This exercise must be carried out of initiating Pakistan occupied Kashmiri people, or the Kashmiris living in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. They need to be initiated into an understanding of their own ancestry, because somebody had snatched it away from you. Somebody deprived you of knowing your own past. Somebody deprived you from learning about your great forefathers, great and grand forefathers. Some names that came to my mind, I said, right from Panini. You don't even know who Panini is, in all likelihood, who Abhinavagupta is, who are many others, many such names. You can get a list and try to read, and somebody you understand them, please do talk about such people to the people who are deprived of their yesterdays, their history, their ancestry, their blood. Their blood. It should be there in the blood. So, when you talk about Sanskriti of Kashmir, you are actually talking about the Sanskriti of Bharat. Because the Sanskriti of Bharat is one. There is always a situation that from every corner of Bharat to the mainstream Bharatiya Sanskriti, there were contributions as matter, something like a tributary, and also in return they receive. You give and then you learn. Imagine Bharatiya Sanskriti to be a mainstream flow, where you really have your own space by way of giving and learning. You contribute maybe less, you learn maybe more, and maybe somebody from your society contributes more. Then you will learn what is required to you. I can pick up personalities, for example, who contributed. For example, let me talk about the military contribution into the Sanskriti of Bharat, who is none other than Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who made us all stand upright. I need not to speak more. Who made us all stand upright. And there was a time that most of the meaningful states were under the rule of the great Marathas. And when the British tried to colonize, they did not take over they did not uh, capture or snatch the land of Bharat from the Mughals. In reality, they took it from the Marathas. Then there are many such great people. Like there is one instance in in modern times. He had such powerful navy. Shivaji Maharaj had such great navy. But much before that, there was one very simple, not a mighty emperor. There was Shankaracharya, who lived only 32 years. He had re-established the Sanskriti of Bharat against heavy odds in that short span of his life. He accomplished his goal and he just went away. That's it. So, from one corner there is contribution. From every corner there is contribution. From every nook and corner of Bharat there are contributions. And every small society in Bharat had something to give to the mainstream and always learn everything from mainstream. That would make the Sanskriti one. The process has to happen in Pakistan occupied Kashmir with the people of Kashmir. It's only with that you can blend meaningfully. Otherwise, that separatist elements which got injected into your brain for more than 100 years, right from 1857 till now, has to wither away and it will take time. And that was done arbitrarily, willfully, and craftily by the intellectuals of that period, who were separatist intellectuals. Many of them were victims of separatist epistemology by themselves. They were victims of separatist epistemology who believed in a separatist ontology. They themselves are victims. Very few willfully, knowingly wanted to propagate separatism for their personal benefits. Such people are very few. The only example that comes to my mind is Afghani, Jamaluddin Afghani, who was basically not an Indian in the present context. So, there need to be a process of acculturization of Bharatiya Sanskriti with the Kashmiris who happen to live in Pakistan occupied Kashmir for this long time. You can talk about the mindset, you can talk about your attitude. Everything had been patterned by the context you live in at the instance of the separatist Muslim intellectuals who evolved after 1857 struggle for independence, after a first freedom struggle. Then only the separatist intellectuals evolved, because at that time the best period for intellectuals, Islamic intellectuals everywhere in all over the world, was that period in Bharat, because they were free. They could think, they could write, they could speak. There was no one who would issue a fatwa against him for allegedly speaking this, asking people to do this, etc. Which of course might go against the interest of the fatwa making factory. Since there were no fatwas, no one was against them in the beginning, the intellectuals are relatively very, very free people, like normally a Hindu society. It is predominantly Hindu society. That's how the separatist elements could grow. That's how any kind of faith system could grow. And instead of integrating, that is, instead of making Bharatiya Muslims, some of them remained Muslims, not Bharatiyas. That is where the problem came. I would just speak about one example, one instance of the Iranians. Not the present day Iranians, but the Iranians who migrated to Bharat, who are normally called as Parsis, to stand for Persians. See, we have a lot of, I have a lot of friends, someone very close to me also, a Parsi. Uh, we don't consider them as non-Hindu. I know that he is a Parsi, but we don't consider him as non-Hindu, and he himself doesn't consider us non-Hindu because of various epistemological reasons. But look at the way they have integrated with this Sanskriti of Bharat. When you keep Sanskriti as a criterion of identity, then none of these people are different, separate. Nobody is separate. Anybody born here, out of them, nobody is separate. It's only when someone claims to be separate, now he willfully stays away from the Sanskriti of Bharat, then only the epistemology of difference comes into your upper plate and start alienating you. That, of course, is a stronger kind of alienation. That you are alienated from your own self, your own identity, your own Sanskriti, your own culture. So, an integration of the people of Pakistan occupied Kashmir with the people of Bharat has to be through an epistemological amalgamation, which has to start from there, through a decolonizing, like we say, an anti-OD brainwashing, which was done, a brainwashing that was done to you by the intellectuals of that time. It's still there. You don't have to do anything. You simply have to understand your own history, your own ancestry. That will do. Then you will know who you are. And then you will understand where to be proud of and what to be proud of. Then the joining of the people of Pakistan occupied Kashmir with the other people of Bharat shall be easy, simple and spontaneous. Let's look for such a situation. Let's look for such a time. Let's look for such a day. With this hope, we'll meet again. Let me conclude. Jai Bharat, Namaste, Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram.